Well, here's a report that came out today that probably isn't news to a lot of people. Boy, it's how the small business relief lending, the PPP program, that gave out like $800 billion. Man, it's huge. Well, they just did a big study at the Federal Reserve or somewhere, and it showed that small business relief package was racially biased in who got the money. Wow, surprise. I think there's gambling in casinos too, I hear. But what's important, I think, for this study to show is not only that they were biased, but the people who applied on what they call FinTech, FINTECH, I guess, or K, that those who use the FinTech applications were less biased. But if you went to a bank and talked to a loan officer, that's where the bias come in, because there were some big banks that just went all fintech themselves, and they only had the robots deciding. So when the robots deciding, they're not biased. If you use people, then you're biased, and it was substantial. So these non-bank things, there was $800 billion. It turned out that the automated loan venting and processing system used by the fintechs, as well as some of the nation's biggest banks, significantly improved the approval rates for Black borrowers, the researchers found. They didn't find such stark gaps for other racial groups like Asian or Hispanic. So it was just the Black borrowers that got. So if you're Black, man, don't walk into a bank unless they're using, the robots to decide. And there's arguments against it and whatever. But to me, what's more importantly, that fintechs now is another source for SBA loans and things like this. So government subsidized loans, that are mostly at the banks, look at the and particularly if you're a minority, to look at the fintechs. I mean, I see now. I use some fintechs, particularly like on my Shopify list program. They're lending money, and they're all just fintech people lending money. PayPal lends money too, and so it's all just just robot society. You don't sit down across the a walnut desk and talk to somebody. Womply, that's what I used, for my PPP loan. So it's changing. There's an article about some other fintechs. I mean, there's other people that. Let me move me out of here. You can see. I mean, Lendio, Lendio, Blue Vine. That's another one. Been around for a while. Fundbox. Circle Up. And I've run into them a lot too, and doing things on crowdfunding and stuff. So these non-bank banks are less discriminating than the old banker sitting behind the desk. So it's and see, a lot of this money is guaranteed by the government. So like the PPP loans, even though these banks were discriminating against people, even if they defaulted, the government was going to pay for the loan. So they had nothing to lose, and they still default. I mean, they still discriminate. So who knows? I mean, what's it more complicated to deal with, human nature or the robots? It's probably a toss-up. But that's what's going on. That's an article here. I'll put all the links in the discussion below. Okay, thanks.